ultimately they did. He's not a man who lightly issues threats, because after he came to Singapore, he told me, pass this on to the Americans. And then, shortly afterward, he visited America, Washington, to personally tell them, to warn them that he will act. And he did.
So he's a man of his words.
Oh, he's a very careful man. He made up his mind that this was not something China could tolerate, because the Vietnamese wanted the Indo-Chinese Federation of Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, and the Chinese are not going to have that. That's that. Full stop.
我们谈到中国的时候，不能够不谈一谈两岸关系啊。And while we had one presidential election coming up in the U.S., there is a slightly smaller scale, a presidential election going to happen in Taiwan in about 100 days' time. There are three aspirants, Ms. Tsai Ing-wen of the DPP, Mr. Ma Ying-jeou of the KMT, and Mr. James Soon, whom you know fairly well, I believe, of the People's First Party. China, of course, is watching political development in Taiwan very closely, and perhaps with some anxiety at the same time. Does it matter who wins the election?
Yes, of course. It makes a very big difference about what happens after that. I mean, if you have a person like Ma Ying-jeou who says, 不同不独不霸, well, then you can continue the relations, and the two sides will economically have more to do with each other to mutual benefit. You have you have Tsai Ing-wen. I think she will try to reverse it. It will be difficult, because the Chinese are very wisely buying agricultural products from the south, farmers of the south. But she will try and slow down the process. Song Chu-yi has 15%, according to the polls. Tsai Ing-wen and Ma Ying-jeou both have 30%. I don't understand why he thinks he can overtake them. What he can do is to take away votes from Ma Ying-jeou, more than he would take votes from Tsai Ing-wen.
That's right. And so it would be in China's interest to see the KMT win in the next election? Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, but China can do nothing about it.
They can give benefits and incentives.
No. He is motivated by his personal desire to become president of Taiwan. He thinks he stands a chance, and he's going to try.
Actually, James Soon almost became the president. He came very close.
No, that was the last time, not now.
Yeah, that's right. Speaking of cross-strait relations, I mustn't not ask the one question that's on the minds of most people. That is, do you foresee a scenario whereby the Americans will intervene in the event of a Chinese military action against Taiwan?
No,
which is something that the Chinese have never ruled out as an option.
No, I don't see the Americans intervening in Taiwan, because, all right, you can intervene this time, because the Chinese Navy is not, and Air Force not strong enough. But next time, and next time, and next time, it will never end, because for China, Taiwan is a core issue. For America, Taiwan is a peripheral issue. So the contrast between the two, of the importance to national interests of Taiwan and the main national interests of America and Taiwan, very different altogether. And if I were an American, I would know that I can go in the first time now and beat the Chinese. But they'll come back. They must come back. You beat them the second time, there's a third time. Finally, one day, you cannot beat them. So what's the point of it?
Is it fair to say that you told the Americans so?
No, I don't think I need to tell the Americans. They can do their own calculations. They can see the speed at which the Chinese are learning to build fighters, stealth fighters, submarines. They can do their calculations. They can estimate what happens in 10 years, in 15 years, in 20 years. So I think they'll be quite glad. My guess is they'll be quite glad to find a peaceful solution to this and not have to be caught up in a struggle between China and Taiwan.
Thank you. So peace is better than military action anytime.